So 4-6 is solve two-step inequalities. All right, so a two-step inequality is an inequality that contains two operations, of course. You can solve using inverse operations, just as we did with equations, okay? Now, I do want you to remember that when we multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to flip the inequality symbol, okay? Now, we did talk about this yesterday, but we didn't write it down, okay? So here it says an open circle is used to show the number is not a solution, okay? And when you look at your inequality, it looks like those, right? It just has the less than or the equal to. The less than or the greater than, okay? Now, if it's a closed circle, that's used to show that the number is a solution. And when we look at the inequalities, it has a line underneath, which means the or equal to. Is everybody clear with that? Okay? And then, of course, when we shade to the left or we shade to the right, that shows which values are the solutions. So example 1, we are going to solve and graph the solutions of the inequality. And again, when we're solving inequalities, we solve them the same way we solve equations. Okay? So here we have 1.3x minus 3.2 is greater than or equal to 4.6. Okay? So we're going to use our cover-up. Cover that up. What do I want to get rid of? The negative 3.2. So how do I get rid of the negative 3.2? We're going to add 3.2 on both sides. So these cancel to 0, and 1.3x is greater than or equal to 7.8. Okay? And now we want to get the x by itself. So what do I want to get rid of? The 1.3, right? So yes, we're going to divide by 1.3 on both sides. So those 1.3 simplify to 1. 1 times x is greater than or equal to 6. Very good. So now we graph. When we graph, we are going to put the important number on the graph. So that's going to be 6. And then we surround it with some numbers, okay? So on the left, of course, we have 5. And on the right, we have 7. Now, what kind of circle do we have at 6? Closed circle, because it has the or equal to. Is everybody clear with that? So it has the line underneath. It has the or equal to. So that means 6 is included in the solution. So we need to put a closed circle. And what side of the number line do we shade? To the right. Very good. All right, so for the second one, we've got a negative 3.62x plus 5.6 is less than negative 3.45, okay? Everybody got it written down? So we want to solve for x, so we want to use our cover-up, cover that up, and what do I want to get rid of? The 5.6. So we are going, how do I get rid of that 5.6? Very good. So minus 5.6 on both sides. Yep. So those cancel to 0, and we are left with negative 3.62x is less than, and this is going to be, let's see, 3.45 plus 5.6. This is going to give us a negative, very good, negative 9.05. And now, to get this x by itself, we need to get rid of the negative 3.62. Now, because this says negative 3.62 times x, how do I get rid of the negative 3.62? We're going to divide. Very good. So we are going to divide by a negative 3.62 on both sides. Negative 3.62. Now, what did we just divide by? A negative number, right? I'm going to highlight it. We divided by a negative number. So what does that mean that we have to do to that inequality? We need to flip it, right? We need to flip it. So you're right. Yes, we're going to flip the inequality symbol. So that's a number plus it's divided by itself. That simplifies to 1. So we're left with x. Now we're going to flip the inequality symbol because we divided by a negative number. So now this is going to be greater than. And 9.05 divided by 3.62 is equal to 2.5. And a negative divided by a negative, Mason, is positive. So that's going to be a positive 2.5. Is everybody clear? All right. So now we put it on the graph. Okay? Now, when you put this on the graph, okay, you can graph halves or you can graph whole numbers. I'll do both. Okay? So we want 2.5. And of course, 2.5 is between what? 2 and 3. So I'm going to put 2 here. I'm going to put 3 there. Put some more on there. Now, the number is right in between. Is everybody clear? So, this is 2.5. And what kind of circle am I going to have at 2.5? We'll have an open circle. And which way are we shading on the number line? To the right, because it's greater than. Is everybody clear? Now, you might also see the graph with halves. Does everybody see that? So we've got the 2.5, and then over here that's 2, and then 1.5, and then 3, and then 3.5. So you can also see it like that, and then you graph your open circle on the 2.5, and then shade to the right. All right, example 2, we're going to solve and graph, and this one includes our fractions, okay? Now, don't let it stress you out because we can get rid of the fractions by doing what? Multiplying by the common denominator, right? So, what is the least common denominator of 2, 3, and 6? 6. See, because all 3 of those can be divided into 6. You with me? So we're going to multiply each one of those times 6. So we're going to multiply this times 6. We're going to multiply here times 6. And we're going to multiply here times 6. Okay? So when we simplify, 2 divided by 2, 1. 6 divided by 2, 3. So that now says 3 times 1, right? So 3 times 1, of course, is 3. Is greater than. And now we're going to simplify the next one. You can do them all at the same time if you want. So now when we simplify here, 3 divided by 3, 1. 6 divided by 3, 2. And look, now we're multiplying 2 times 2 times x. Does everybody see it? So that's going to give us 4x. Oops. So now that's 4x. And those 6's simplify to 1's. And now this is minus 5. And we have no more fractions. So now we want to solve for x. So we're going to cover up the term that includes our variable. And what do I want to get rid of? The negative 5. And how do I do that? You're going to add 5 on both sides. Very good. So now those 5's simplified, those cancel to 0. We're left with 8 is greater than 4x. And now to get the x by itself, we will on both sides. Very good. So those 4's cancel or simplify to 1. And 1 times x is x. And 8 divided by 4 is 2, and then we put our inequality symbol in there. So 2 is greater than x. Now, when we graph it, we put our important number on the number line, and then put some other numbers in there. Okay. What kind of circle do I have at 2? Open circle. And which way do I shade? Well, which one is it, left or right? Okay, remember the hint that we said yesterday? Read the variable first. So if I'm reading in that direction, right, we're reading x is less than 2. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so we're shading to the left. We're shading to the left. Does everybody understand it? All right, so here, example B, same thing. We're going to practice with fractions. So we have 1/3 is greater than 2/5 x minus 1/3. Now, we want to get rid of our fractions. So what is the least common denominator of 3 and 5? 15. So we're going to multiply each term times 15. Let me do this on this side. Times 15. So when we simplify, we've got 3 divided by 3, 1. 15 divided by 3, 5. 5 divided by 5, 1. 15 divided by 5, 3. And then 3 is 1, and 15 divided by 3 is 5 again. So let's rewrite. Now, I'm going to highlight so you can see what we're multiplying. So for the first term, we've got 5 times 1. 5 times 1, of course, is 5. Is greater than, and then here, we're multiplying 3 times 2 times x, which is 6x. Don't forget the x. Minus, and over here, we're multiplying 1 times 5, which of course is 5. No, minus because it's a negative 1 times a positive 5. You see? So now we want to solve for x. So we're going to cover up here. And what do we want to get rid of? The negative 5. So how do I do that? You're going to add 5 on both sides. So those cancel to 0. And we're left with 10 is greater than 6x. Now to get the x by itself, we will divide by 6. And so those 6's simplify to 1. 1 times x is x. Now on the other side, we can simplify first, right? Is it all right with you, like we did on the video? So here, I'm going to divide by 2 here, and I'm going to divide by 2 there. So that's going to give me what? 5/3. Right? And of course, how many times is 3 going to 5? Once. How many left over? So this is 1 2/3 is greater than x. All right, so now we want to graph it. Okay, so 1 2/3 is between what two numbers? 1 and 2. So let's put those important numbers on the number line. And we could put some others on there just to make it look nice. Okay. Now, 1 2/3 is between 1 and 2. The fraction is thirds, right? So that means we need to split that space right there into thirds. So we want to split this into thirds. So here, splitting into thirds, and which one is 2/3? Second one, right? So this is 1 and 2/3. And, oh, I'm going to write that a little better. 1 and 2/3. And what kind of circle do I have at 1 and 2/3? An open circle. And which way am I supposed to be shading? To the left. Very good. Because that says x is less than 1 and 2/3. Is everybody clear? So example 3, we want to solve and graph this one. Now, this is nothing that we haven't seen before, right? How do I get rid of my grouping symbols? Distributive property. Very good. So here, we're going to distribute the 3 throughout the parentheses. So that gets us 3x. What next? Minus 15 is less than or equal to negative 18. Is everybody clear? All right, now we just solve like normal, right? Okay, so here we want to cover that up. What do I want to get rid of? Negative 15. How? Good. So plus 15 on both sides. Those 15s cancel to 0. So we get 3x is less than or equal to negative 3. Good. So now, to get the x by itself, we will divide by 3 on both sides. Now, those 3's cancel to 1. 1 times x is x. And then negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. So we have x is greater than or equal to negative 1. Right? Right? No, it's not right. It's not right. What's wrong? We flipped it. Were we supposed to flip it? No, we weren't supposed to flip it. So let's take a look. So what did I do wrong? So, you guys, just because, listen to this, just because we started with a negative 3, with a negative number, doesn't mean we flipped the inequality. Is everybody clear with that? So we divided by a positive 3. So was I supposed to flip that inequality? No. Very good. So this stays less than or equal to. Our important number, thought I could trick you guys, negative 1 there. What goes over here? Negative 2, and then over here, 0. 0. Very good. Now, what kind of circle do we have at negative 1? Closed circle. Very good. And which side do we shade on? To the left. All right. Silly, silly. All right. So example 3b, we have negative 1/3 times the quantity x plus 10 is greater than negative 7. Now, we want to distribute, right? Okay. So we're going to distribute that negative 1 throughout the parentheses. So that's going to give me negative 1/3 x minus 10/3 is greater than negative 7. Now, what am I going to multiply to get rid of my fractions? Just 3? Negative 3, because I want it to be a positive x, right? So we're going to multiply this times negative 3. We're going to multiply this times negative 3. And we're going to multiply this times negative 3. Okay? So here, that negative 3 and this negative 3 cancels to 1. And 1 times x is x. And then over here, those 3's, this negative 3 and this negative 3 cancel, so that's going to be positive 10, so plus 10, is greater than, oh, I'm supposed to be a negative 3 over here. So negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21. And now, how do I get the x by itself? Minus 10 on both sides. So those 10s cancel to 0, and x is greater than 11. Is everybody clear? To graph it, important number is 11. So we've got a 10 over here and a 12 over there. And what kind of circle do I have at 11? Open, and which way do I shade? To the right. Is everybody clear?